Talk Leadership, where we explore new ideas shaping the way we lead and work. I am Mahima.
And I am Sucharita. Today we are diving into one of the biggest challenges that we are facing, managing remote and hybrid teams.
So we recently received a message from Will, who said,
Managing remote teams is tough. Without in-person contact, it's hard to keep everyone on the same page and working efficiently. Communication often breaks down, leading to misunderstandings and less teamwork. Plus, finding the right balance between giving freedom and ensuring accountability is a real challenge. I also have the feeling that I, as a leader, somehow do not know what my people need. Also, I do not know how I can be a good role model to show them we are all in the same situation. We need to come up with new leadership strategies that fit this remote setup. Can you please create a podcast episode and leadership on that topic?
his words capture what so many leaders might feel right now.
Absolutely. Remote leadership isn't just a temporary phase, it's a new landscape. Even though we have reopened the offices, the balance between flexibility and connection remain a major challenge that we are facing worldwide.
Yeah, that's true. So today we have invited two brilliant guest speakers to unpack this. Mia and Akarshan. Mia, a global CEO who has worked with global teams across 3 different continents, and Akarshan, an industry expert and a leadership consultant who's worked with distributed organizations across Europe and Asia. Mia and Akarshan,
Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mahima. What Will just described really deeply connected with me. I lead a team spanning different continents. From Europe to Asia, navigating different time zones and the cultures and the way of people working. Even with all our managing tools, it's not easy to maintain the human connection. I mean, the real challenge is how do you stay visible as a leader without micromanaging?
Mm-hmm. Right, remote work blurs the line between trust and control. Like if you push too hard, then people generally try to disengage. But if you stay hands-free, then there's a performance drop.
Exactly, and that's where I often think about the path goal theory. It's about the leader's role in clarifying the path of their people, removing barriers, clearing the goals, and adapting your leadership according to each team member's needs.
That's a great point, Mia. So can you explain us how that works remotely?
Certainly, usually with the new employees, I tend to choose more a directive approach, clear instructions, frequently check-ins. But with the more experienced team member, I usually shift leadership to a little bit supportive and achievement-oriented style, focus more on the motivation and the autonomy. I mean, the strength of this theory is the flexibility. You don't have to lead everyone with the same style.
Mm-hmm. Could you also tell us about the downside of this theory? It would be really helpful for us.
I do feel there are some downsides of this theory because people are different. So the biggest downsides could be very reactive. People are different. Then if they feel you shift too much from the leadership style, they got confused if you are not consistent with your values. So the remote leadership not only need the flexibility, it also need the stability. So as a leader, you really need to strike that balance consciously.
That's a perfect transition to the second idea, adaptive leadership. Akarshan, could you explain us what that means in today's context?
Gladly, adaptive leadership, which is developed by Ronald Fies, is all about helping people navigate change when the solutions aren't obvious. Remote leadership is a textbook adaptive challenge. Again, there's no fixed rule book. It's more about experimentation, emotional intelligence, and also continuous learning.
Mm-hmm. So here you say instead of having all the answers, leaders become facilitators of learning. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You just try to create a safe space for your team and to fail fast and adapt quite quickly. The advantage again is that it builds resilience in your team Your people learn to solve problems themselves. And the drawback, however, is that it can sometimes be messy, but it demands patience, psychological safety, and which is quite harder to sustain for a longer period of time and screens.
That's really insightful. It reminds me that how adaptive leaders can be vulnerable too. Admitting I don't know can actually build trust if done authentically.
Yes, again, and that's the shift we are looking at, right? Leadership is moving from command to control and to connect and co-create.
So if we zoom out, Will's struggle isn't personal, it's structural. So remote leadership is becoming like a core skill and not a temporary adjustment anymore.
Exactly. Every leader now needs to be fluent in digital empathy, understand people without physical cues. It's a muscle you build through the intentional communication and transparency.
And I truly believe that organization, they must reframe accountability. Leadership, it's not about like monitoring tasks, it's also about working together on purpose and outcomes.
Well said again. The future leadership lies in like balancing both clarity and autonomy. Path goal again, talks about it. It just gives you structure. Adaptive leadership gives you fluidity. Now just combine both and you'll get what a modern team needs. It's like direction with flexibility.
Okay, before we wrap up, one quick takeaway from each one of you. What is the one thing that leaders could do differently in the next year?
For me, it would be listen more, assume less, always ask what your team member needs, don't just guess.
I think just build learning cultures, teach people how to adapt and not just how to perform.
That's beautifully said.
Remote leadership isn't about distance, it's about design. Designing trust, communication, and growth intentionally.
Well, thank you, Miana Karshan, for joining us. And to our listeners, remember, leadership is not about where you work, it's all about how you connect.